the bloody end to Bangkok's red shirt protest in 2010. At its peak, 100,000 people, largely supporters of ousted former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, rallied for the government to step down. After 2 months, the army moved in, and a small band of protesters rampaged through the streets, looting and setting fire to buildings. More than 2.5 years later, 24 redshirt leaders faced trial on terrorism charges and for inciting violence, something they strongly deny.
I'm
certain that the protesters did not need any speeches to provoke them. They saw more and more people injured and dying. The situation was already very heated.
The leaders hold the military and the government at the time responsible for the more than 90 killed and nearly 2,000 injured. More than half the deaths occurred during the army crackdown after negotiations failed.
I've expressed my regret, but I think a lot of people understand how much effort that I put in to avoid the losses. But it was the job of the government of that day to also restore order.
Human rights groups and investigating commissions say both sides were to blame. Its report points to violent elements among protesters, but also says the government authorized the use of war weapons and live ammunition without sufficient measures of control.
The military, the security forces were responsible for larger casualty, but both sides were clearly responsible. Too bad now, none of them seem to be willing to admit their wrongdoings.
In 2011, elections brought the Red Shirts-backed party to power, but those responsible for the casualties might still escape accountability. A proposed amnesty might allow the Reds' hero, Thaksin, back from self-imposed exile, but it would also let perpetrators on both sides of the violence off the hook.
This is going to be a whitewash. It may help political leaders and military leaders to coexist, and the survival of the government is guaranteed. But this is not justice for victims of violence.
Bangkok's now seeing fresh protests, this time opposing the red shirt-backed government. With no justice yet for the victims of 2010, Thailand could be facing even more political upheaval.